In today's lesson, we're going to talk about dividing using reciprocals. Now, if you'll recall, a fraction is the same thing as a whole number divided by another whole number. So we looked at 4 divided by 5, which was the same thing as 4 over 5 as a fraction. Now, when we divide a fraction by a fraction, we have to use what we call reciprocals. And of course, you want to know, what is a reciprocal? Well, a reciprocal, in order to find the reciprocal of any fraction, you switch the places of the numerator and the denominator. So 3 over 4, its reciprocal is 4 over 3. So notice the denominator became the numerator, and the numerator became the denominator. So just as multiplication and division are opposites, a fraction and its reciprocal are also opposites. So find the reciprocal of the following. So here we have 3 over 7. Remember to find its reciprocal, the numerator and the denominator switch places. So the reciprocal of 3 over 7 is 7 over 3. 1 over 8, the reciprocal is 8 over 1. Now remember, 8 over 1 can be simply written as 8. That is its most common form, because a whole number is always understood to have a denominator of 1. So that brings us to 9, when we want to write its reciprocal. Well, 9 is the same thing as saying 9 over 1. And remember, to find the reciprocal, you have to switch places with the numerator and the denominator. So the 1 becomes the numerator, and the 9 becomes the denominator. So if we take 9, or any whole number, we find the reciprocal, then in this case, the reciprocal of 9 is 1 over 9. Dividing fractions. All right, well, to divide a fraction by a fraction, we have to change the divisor to its reciprocal, and then we multiply instead. So for instance, if we take 1/2 divided by 3 over 4, then we have to change the divisor to its reciprocal, and the division becomes multiplication. And then we simply multiply, just as we did in previous lessons. All right, so divide 1 over 3 divided by 3 over 4. So take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is this guy. This is the second fraction, the divisor. Change it to its reciprocal, and the division becomes multiplication. And then you go ahead and multiply. So we multiply the numerators, 1 times 4, which is 4. Multiply the denominators, which is 3 times 3, which gives us 9. And notice that 4 and 9 are not factors of each other, and this cannot be simplified any further. Divide 3 over 8 divided by 4 over 6. Again, take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is this guy. So we're going to take the reciprocal, change the division to multiplication, and then simply multiply the fraction. All right, so multiply the numerators. In this case, it's 3 times 6, which gives us 18. Then we have 8 times 4, which gives us 32. Now, you'll notice that these are both even numbers. So if you see that you have 2 even numbers, go ahead and simply divide both of the numerator and the denominator by 2, and we get 9 over 16. Now, 9 and 16 have no factors in common, so this is the simplified fraction. Always, after you simplify one fraction, always check to see if you can simplify even further. All right, so that'll just help you to completely simplify when you're asked to do so. Now, Leah is painting birdhouses for her backyard, and she has 3/6 of a liter of paint left. Each birdhouse requires 1/16 of a liter of paint. So how many birdhouses can she paint? Well, the number of birdhouses means that you take the amount of paint you have, and you have to divide by the amount of paint needed for each birdhouse. So that tells it, so what we have to do is find that information in the question, and this 3/6 of a liter is how much paint she has. Okay, so that's this guy. And then the amount of paint required for each birdhouse is this guy right here, which is 1/16. So we take 3/6 and we divide it by 1/16, and that will tell us how many birdhouses she can actually paint. All right, so how do we do that? Well, we take the reciprocal of this second fraction, which is this guy right here, and then we change our division to multiplication, and we go ahead and we multiply. So we multiply our numerators, 3 times 16, which gives us 48. Multiply our denominators, which is 6 times 1, which gives us 6. And if we remember from our multiplication tables, 48 divided by 6 is going to give us 8, because 8 times 6 equals 48. All right, so what that tells us is that Leah can paint 8 birdhouses with the amount of paint she has left. And that's your lesson on dividing using reciprocals.